Hello and welcome back to an exciting Broken Banners battle report. Today we have Doran Martell versus Mag the Mighty. 40 Fathoms Creations, this one's for you, brother. Today, I will be piloting Doran Martell, and my buddy Derek, one of the top players in the areas and an absolute wonderful person, will be piloting Mag the Mighty for your enjoyment. Today we'll be playing Honed and Ready. Honed and Ready is a 5-objective mode game mode where claim one of the side objectives. At the end of the round when you score from it, you roll a die and you get shot with a bunch of arrows equal to the amount of hits that die generates. The one who claims the middle is safe from this penalty. In addition, NCUs can claim a zone on the board and replace it with sending more arrows into somebody foolish enough to hold those side objectives. Now let's not mess around and get right into the funny business. Derek is piloting Mag the Mighty. Now, Mag the Mighty is a different commander than usual. Normally, a commander will be an attachment in a unit and will bring 3 cards. Mag is different. Mag is the entire unit, and he brings an entirely new deck. It would go too long to cover every single card he has, so I just pulled 3 at random for you to see here. So, first card he has, Shrug It Off. When a friendly monster unit performs an action, before resolving that action, this unit may replace that action with restoring 3 wounds. Trample. When a friendly giant unit performs a charge action, before resolving that action, a lot of text. Basically, you move 10 inches forward. Anything you run through takes D3 wounds. And if you can't make the full distance, you just move 1 inch away from whatever you're trampling through. And then in Rage, basically you take 2 wounds and you activate. And then until the end of the turn, you may reroll any attack dice and your defender becomes panicked and weakened. Now, this is helpful for Giants a lot because Giants all have Vicious on their melee attacks, so it really helps push through that extra damage. Of course, Mag the Mighty brings the classic Giant Resilience, 7 dice hitting on 3. You don't get defense rolls, so he's just punching through regardless what armor you have, and Vicious. And if you kill him, you better kill him with range, because if you get him with a melee attack, he's going to punch you right back in the teeth as he goes down swinging. Following this, we have the Savage Giant, the classic Giant. Same thing. Giant Resilience. Vicious. Gains an additional attack die for each wound that they have suffered. You don't get defense dice rolls. And if you're charged by him, you become panicked. So then, pushing through that panic damage. Derek is bringing Lady Val. Great free folk NCU. Basically lets you get a free horse zone anywhere on the board. So if you don't like that crown zone, or you want to deny your opponent the crown zone, guess what? Lady Val's hitting that and replacing it with a free maneuver or retreat action. And finally, perhaps the star of the show, Mance Raider. What a awful NCU to play against. So he has 2 effects. One, once per game, when an enemy NCU activates, he can just be like, that NCU is going to lose all of its abilities until the end of the round. In addition, he has Disrupt Communication. It's an influence, and when he influences a unit, specifically an enemy unit, your opponent may not target that unit with Tactics Zone effects or influence abilities. So, what does that mean? Things like the Sword Zone target the unit, right? So if Mance is influencing that unit, guess what? You're not making swords attacks for that unit. Same thing with horses. Same thing with bags. Really frustrating to deal with. Great pick. Derek is also bringing a new unit, the Giant Spear Throwers. Basically, same jazz as before, except they have Sundering. You do get defense dice rolls in melee attacks, and the Giant Spear Thrower can whip these giant arrows at infinite range. Granted, you're going to be hitting at 6s, but infinite range, and if you hit a cavalry, monster, or war machine, it deals 2 hits for each success. And if you're in long range, so 14 inches, you're hitting on 3s. So you're going to be putting a lot of holes in cavalry if you decide to go after them. Derek is also bringing Varamir Sixskins. So remember in the previous slide, Mag cares a lot about monsters, right? So Varamir is bringing 2 monsters, the Wolfpack and the Shadowcat. Varamir is really solid. He's a solo infantry unit. Cavalry, my apologies. Technically a monster. 3 up armor, 4 up morale. Very difficult to remove from the board. Sundering Vicious, and then gains an additional attack die for each wound the unit has suffered. The Wolfpack, very interesting. The main takeaway is that if it engages one of your units, you lose all abilities and cannot be the target of friendly tactics cards. Granted, you have to get into that position, but it is possible. And then finally, we have the Shadow Cat. The Shadow Cat has Outflank built into it, annoying for deployment, and then Disrupt. So the Shadow Cat can really get behind enemy lines and start cutting through weakened archer units like they're nothing. And then that Disrupt is going to make the cat fairly safe from getting slapped back. And in classic Free Folk fashion, we cannot forget about the Free Folk Raiders. Derek is bringing the simple Raiders with a skin changer that has changed since the last patch, and choosing the Bonded Bear. There is that whole meme about bringing 1,000 skin changers to put 1,000 bears on the board. That's not happening this time, but it could. So just think about that. So now let's get to the important part. Me. I'm playing Martells. I'm not a Martell player, and you'll see that in the video, all of my units are the crisp mac and cheese craft plastic that we all know and love. So I'm running Doran Martell. Doran Martell is different because he is an NCU commander that brings an attachment. You have to pay for him, similar to how you have to pay for Mag the Mighty, but he is an NCU. So what Doran can do is he can replace a zone and let Ario's unit in the Darkstar Retinue make a free maneuver or retreat action. He also brings False Agenda. When an enemy NCU activates, if the enemy NCU claims a zone this turn, after resolving that zone's effect, so if they target the bags and the healer unit, you may then move the NCU to another zone. So let's say they take the swords, you can be like, I want the swords, you're going to the crowns. If you're removing them from the crown, you can put a condition token out on another unit. He also brings Parlay. Basically, Parlay says, when I'm going to activate my unit, instead of doing anything, one of your units in short range cannot perform any actions this round. If it targets Ariohota's unit, he can restore 2 wounds. Finally, Right to Act. When a friendly NCU claims the crown, replace that zone's effect with every enemy combat unit becomes vulnerable. Let me repeat that. Every enemy combat unit becomes vulnerable. Kind of crazy. We're also having the Darkstar Retinue, which is the home for Ariohota, the proxy commander in this instance. So the Darkstar Retinue have a couple interesting abilities. One, they have Overrun built into this, which means when you kill an enemy unit, after all of the effects are resolved, you can Surge Forth, get another attack action in there. Sorry, it's not a Surge Forth, a Charge or March action instead of the Surge Forth. Fueled by Slaughter, so healing, and then Critical Blow. And then Ariohota brings Coordinated Assault. So every time he charges, he gets an additional hit for each remaining rank in this unit. So 3 ranks, you're going to be throwing 7 dice with rerolls, crit blow, and an additional 3 hits. Also, when I am successfully charging an enemy, they become vulnerable. Pretty great. And then finally, due to the crown, each time I pass a morale test with this unit, I restore a wound. If I control the crowns, I restore another wound. A lot of healing. Then, the NCU suite. I already mentioned Doran Martell. We have Tyene Sand. Tyene Sand has changed since the previous edition. Now, she does the exact same thing, except her poison is different. So Tyene Sand is interesting because she can kill an NCU. No other effects in this edition of the game that I can think of right now during the recording of this video can do that. It's a tiered effect. So basically, round 2, I get to put the poison onto one of the zones. Hint, it's always the swords. And then if Derek claims the swords with one of his NCUs, they get the Strangler attached to them. Starting round 2, that unit loses all abilities. Starting round 3, they do not count as controlling tactic zones for abilities or effects. This, not so great against free folk who don't care about zones, but for other factions, really solid. 4 rounds, you may only activate this unit if you have no other units that can activate this round. And then 5, destroy this unit at the start of the round. So you're getting additional units destroyed if you get lucky and stick somebody with this, and it really disrupts her momentum. She also can heal a wound when she takes a zone, which actually is pretty sweet. You take the bags, heal 4, very nice. Ilaria Sand is a staple in the Martell, as far as I understand. So when she claims a zone, you can target a friendly combat unit, and you may remove a condition token from them. So now all of a sudden your Darkstar Retinue that were weakened are no longer weakened. And if you control the sword zone, you can target an enemy unit in long range of the targeted friendly unit, they gain a condition token. Following Ariohota and the Darkstar Retinue, we have the Sand Skirmishers with the High Hermitage Sentinel. Man, what a fun unit. Basically, you have a speed 6 short-range unit that can do quickfire, which is after you perform a maneuver or retreat, you get to shoot. How great is that? With the High Hermitage Sentinel, you get an additional movement, and you can pivot before marching. So now you have this super quick and agile range unit that can, I believe, move 7 and then shoot, so another 2 inches, and then 6 inches on top of that. So massive threat range, very mobile, a lot of fun. And then scout openings is really helpful because you can make a friendly unit get rerolls on attack dice and precision as long as the enemy unit is in long range of the sand skirmishers. Backing up the skirmishers, I got the Starfall Outriders on the far right side of the screen. It's a 6-point cavalry unit with Triplo and Rally Cry. Rally Cry is when you make a melee attack, before rolling attack dice, target one other friendly unit in long range, it restores 2 wounds. Backing them up, we got the Martel Spearmen. The Martel Spearmen are a good backbone unit. My favorite part of them is the tactical reposition. So on an enemy's turn, you can be like, hey, I'm going to shift a unit in short range 3 inches. It's a great way to mess up them or get a unit in position that was out of position. They also have the Spearman Captain, which has the order Threaten, which I can go, that unit in long range is weakened as long as you can see them. So the game begins with the classic roll-off. I won it and I dropped my favorite piece of terrain, the bogs. Derek responds by putting the corpse pile. Remember that panic damage I was mentioning earlier on in this video? I'm going to do my favorite second classic move, put down a werewood tree in my area. Derek's going to throw down another corpse pile to shore up those wonderful, wonderful, wonderful panic tests. Now, Derek here, I won the roll-off, sorry, and I made him deploy first. He's putting his Shadow Cat in outflank, and then I'm responding by putting the Sand Skirmishers in the middle of the board. Derek is taking a basic giant and deploying him directly opposite my Sand Skirmishers. I respond by taking the Darkstar Retinue with Aereo and sticking them to the right of the Sand Skirmishers. Derek responds by taking Mag the Mighty, his commander, and sticking it next to his giant. So commander and commander, what a wonderful coincidence. I stick the Spearman on the far right, trying to claim that objective. Derek does the same with his Raiders. So, again, we want to claim those objectives. We're going to get shot, but we need to get them to gain additional victory points. So, necessary evil. I respond by taking the Starfall Outriders and putting them deployment right between my Spearmen and my Darkstar Retinue. And now Derek can just deploy at will. So he's got his bear from the Bonded Skin Changer, he's dropping Varamir, and he's dropping his wolf pack. He's just dropping everything on the board. I'm fighting a whole zoo, a whole circus. It's going to be really difficult to chew through. And then he places his Spear Thrower. Now remember what I said about that Spear Thrower and targeting cavalry. I'm sweating bricks over here because that Spear Thrower can chew through my cavalry like nothing else. Derek takes Mance Raider and puts him on the letters, and then goes to influence my Darkstar Retinue and puts a weaken token out on my Sand Skirmishers. I respond by activating Doran Martel and moving the Sand Skirmishers up to threaten the center of the board. Remember, the swords have not been taken, and they have not activated, so potential 2 shots right there. On Derek's turn, I use Tactical Reposition to move the Knights up a little bit, and then Derek responds by moving his Raiders up, touching the point, but not claiming it, so he does not get shot. The Bear obviously moves immediately after the Bonded Skin Changer does, and again, won't get shot because it doesn't own that point. I respond by moving my Spearmen and do basically the exact same thing. Move up, but not fully claim the point. Now, I want to be clear. You're not getting shot by scoring at the end of the round. You're getting shot by NCUs replacing the zone. Derek responds by moving Varamir to support his Raiders. And then I go, I'm going to move my Darkstar Retinue max range. Derek moves his Wolf and just hides it next to the Bear. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. I take some time to think, and I put Ilaria on the swords, removing the weaken token out. Unfortunately, nothing's in long range, so they don't get a token, and I just burned the sword's activation. Derek takes his normal giant and moves it up slightly, gently, very nicely. On my turn, I am going to move my horses up. So horses, they have speed 6, they can maneuver 6 with a cavalry maneuver, and then 12. Remember, I'm first player next round. Sorry, I didn't cover that. Derek took first player. So I'm first player next round. So I'm measuring out. I want to be exactly outside 14 inches. Now, you'll see in a moment why I am the fool. I was thinking, okay, he's going to be shooting on 6+. What's the worst that can happen? Well, Lady Val can claim the bags and replace with a maneuver, and then move the Spear Thrower into 3 up range. And remember, it does 2 wounds to cavalry. So my cavalry are in extreme danger right now. And if he puts enough wounds on them, I'm going to have to seriously figure if I'm going to heal them with the bags next round, move them with the horses, or whatever. I activate my skirmishers and move them up to threaten the center point. Derek takes aim, throws a bunch of spears at my beautiful, beautiful cavalry, taking 4 wounds for the pleasure of being near them. I move to roll to the panic test. I roll the dice. I will fail the test, but then I drop unbowed, unbent, unbroken. So I pass the test because I control the swords. And guess what? He gets a stupid card on him that gives him -2 to all morale. And finally, I take Tayin, heal a wound to my beautiful horses, take the crowns, and I'm going to zap his weak raiders. So his raiders fail a test and take a full rank for the pleasure of getting zapped by the crown. Mag's going to activate and replace it with Chieftain's Orders, letting his lovely, lovely spear thrower send a bunch more awful, awful rounds into my horses. I think this time I still fail the panic test, and I'm left with start of round 2. Derek decides to outflank, deploy his Shadowcat in the rear of my spearmen, and I put the poison on the sword zone. I'm going to activate Tayin and take the bags to heal a crispy 4 wounds to my poorly, poorly bruised and battered horsemen. Derek is going to respond by taking Mance and taking the letters, influencing my Darkstar retinue. He's also going to put a weakened token out onto my Sand Skirmishers. They can't catch a break. It's really, they're going to be weakened forever at this point. But with Ilaria, who knows, maybe I can get rid of it. I'm going to take Doran Martell, put him on the horses, and I'm going to flip my spearmen around to face the Shadowcat. Now remember, the spearmen have set for charge. So the Shadowcat charges them. I can attack first. Shadowcat doesn't have a lot of health. However, I am going to be hitting on 5s, so maybe I get lucky and push through enough wounds to kill the Shadowcat. On Derek's turn, I'm going to use Tactical Reposition and shift my beautiful horseman up 3 inches. Derek is going to take Lady Val, replace the Crown Zone with a free maneuver, and hides the Shadowcat further back. He's afraid that I will charge him with my spearmen, but I play Cunning Ploy and instead target my Darkstar retinue and let them march up just outside of auto-in for just within auto-in of the spear thrower. So the idea is fly on in, do a bunch of damage to the spear thrower, overrun, have a great time. Derek's going to play Enrage, take 2 wounds. I'm going to drop Superior Positioning. So Derek's taking 2 wounds onto his regular giant, declares a charge. I play Superior Positioning. He nails it, flies right on in to my commander's unit with his giant. Now remember, I don't get defense dice saves, so whatever he rolls, that's what I'm eating. So he does a beautiful, look at this, 6 wounds, and then panic test time, and what do you know, I bombed the panic test, so I've lost 2 ranks off of that. I'm going to take Ilaria, remove that panic token that I had just gotten from the Rage, and I'm going to attack the giant. However, this is a mistake. I can't actually attack the giant due to Mance's influence off of the sword zone. So I attack Derek, put a few wounds through. He passed the panic test. Derek's going to activate his spear thrower. I drop rising temperatures on them. The spear thrower, weakened, throws more spears into my horsemen, pops, does a bunch of wounds, drops him back to 1 rank. Derek's going to go. I'm going to activate my Darkstar retinue, and he's going to play Monsters from the North. This is basically the old There's Too Many directly onto my Darkstar retinue. So pretty dangerous, -2 to the panic test, but I managed to pass it, which lets me actually heal a wound for the pleasure of taking a test. I'm going to swing out at him, crit blow, so we're going to have quite a few hits. I was weakened, so he makes me reroll all of my hits, and, there she goes. So now he has to roll his defense test. Giants have great morale saves, so it's unlikely that I'm going to be able to push through morale damage, but that's just the way it goes. I do manage to kill the giant. I believe I use scout openings with the Sand Skirmishers on that attack. So now I'm going to charge. Unbowed, Unbent, Unbroken falls off of the giant. Derek plays Last of Their Kind, allowing him to make an attack action. He attacks with the spear thrower, sending more horrifying chunks of spiky wood at my cavalry. Thankfully, he only did 1 wound. Take the panic test, pass the panic test, now for my overrun trigger. So I was auto-in before, if you remember. I charge in, no longer have scout openings. I do 50% to the right side, to make the distance as far as possible from Mag. I'm on the attack. We get some hits through. Unfortunately, giants, they don't take a lot of damage, so not a great situation right there. The Shadow Cat activates and is going to run in the rear of my knights. My knights cannot catch a break. Man, they are getting brutalized left, right, and center. It's like that horse Napoleon rode in that garbage movie that came out last year. Puts 2 hits into the rear of my guys. I take 2 wounds off of that. So I'm on 2 wounds remaining. Panic test, 1/3 chance. If I fail, I can still survive this. What's it going to be? Let's find out. Spoiler alert, I'm dead. That cat has killed my Starfall Knights. Not Starfall Knights, whatever they are. My horsemen. And the Shadow Cat is going to overrun towards the objective behind my spearmen, which I'd spent so much energy and effort trying to get them to face the Shadow Cat, and it was all for naught. Now here we see myself, I'm measuring with the skirmishers, seeing if I can still hold the point and send arrows into the cat. Ultimately, I'm going to decide that it's not worth getting off the point, and I'd much rather just maneuver into position for the next turn. I want that victory point, so I'm going to get that victory point. That's my entire plan here. Now I'm activated out, so Derek is just going to do whatever he pleases. He's going to move his raiders off of the objective. That way they're not getting shot this round. He's going to follow up, move his bear slightly. The bear only has to be in short range of another friendly unit for it not to get destroyed. Varamir is going to go. He's going to take the objective. Remember, he has a 3-up armor, so good chances he's going to survive that. And then the wolf pack is going to go and reinforce Mag the Mighty. Now, remember what I said. The Wolfpack, if he gets you, you lose all abilities. So, very, very dangerous unit, and he just flies across the board. It's incredible. Mag's going to activate, and Derek's going to measure the range. Decides it's not worth it, and he's just going to maneuver up to threaten my guys next round. So, Derek has a really strong position here. We're now rolling the damage from the walls for scoring. So, here we have Derek rolled 3. I roll on my archers. I believe I saved 2. Yeah, so I'm going to lose 3 guys. Derek is going to roll for his Varamir. Varamir is going to take quite a few wounds, even on a 3-up. It's actually incredible how much damage Varamir took off the wall. One more, he would be toasted. At the start of the round, on my turn, I'm going to drop Rayonish Vengeance on Mag the Mighty. Sorry, not my turn. On Derek's turn. Just at the start of any turn. Derek's going to take Mance Raider, take the bags, and he's going to heal the wounds off of Varamir. Remember, he only had 1 wound left, so that's a pretty smart move. Protect it. That's worth a victory point, unlike the Shadow Cat and the Wolf and the Bear. A lot of nothing. I'm going to grab the swords with Tyene, heal a wound to my Darkstar retinue, realize that I can't actually replace the zone's effect to do the attack because of Mance, so instead I'm going to take the letters, put a weaken token out, heal the wound. Derek's going to activate, and I'm going to play False Agenda. So I'm going to say, hey, if you grab a zone, I'm going to move you to another zone. If you're going to take the Crown Zone, more nasty stuff is going to happen to you. Unfortunately, this will not trigger the Strangler as far as I understand, but what are you going to do? He takes Lady Val, takes the Horse Zone, and replaces it with Hurl Boulder. I really don't want to be eating that rock, but there's not much I can do. Derek sends it on off, and he nails it, doing a ton of wounds to my poor Darkstar retinue. Man, they're really struggling. So I'm going to then activate Ilaria. I'm going to take the Sword Zone, and I'm going to put out a token from the Darkstar retinue. So I'm targeting Darkstar retinue, not taking a token off of them, but since I'm targeting them, I'm going to put a token out onto Mag the Mighty, and I'm going to put a weakened token out on him. I really don't want to get side charged by him and suffer the consequences. The Darkstar retinue are kind of hanging out unsupported right now, and Derek's got a lot of nasty things that bite. So he's going to try to stab the Darkstar retinue, I believe, and we're going to see how that handles. We're in a real rough position there, not so great. I roll Roll okay. Still take 2 wounds. But remember, if I pass the panic test, I'm going to heal 1. So, oh, check it out. Failing it. Dropping unbound, unbroken to auto pass the test. Dropping it right back on the Spirit Thrower who had it earlier and healing a wound from the panic test. Every wound counts. Doran's going to take the crowns, replace with Ripe to Act. Every single enemy unit becomes vulnerable, which is quite funny. Also, checking my sweet card flick I just did there. Yeah. Derek's going to activate the wolves, and he is going to charge my flank. Now, remember, the wolves shut off all abilities when they're engaged on his turn, so I'm in real rotten position. I'm not going to be able to heal from the panic test. If he triggers panic test, maybe I'll roll all 6s. But not to be the case. I'm going to take quite a few wounds. I'm going to roll. We lose a guy. This way it goes. And then we roll the dice. Ooh, failed the panic test. Take 2 wounds. I have 2 wounds remaining on the Darkstar Retinue. I'm in real trouble. Now I have to do some thinking. Should I go after the Shadowcat? The Shadowcat can just activate and finish off my Darkstar Retinue. Mag can't actually charge in. So there's a chance I survive that. So I'm going to scout openings the Shadowcat. I'm going to shoot at the Shadowcat. Shift over 2 inches just to block in the off chance that Mag decides to wander on over there, and I'm going to send the shots. And the precision, I believe, does enough wounds to take him out. Derek is not going to make me re-roll the weaken token here. He's just like, it doesn't make any sense. I'm not going to worry about it. So, goodbye, Shadowcat. So, unfortunately, he drops Trample. Trample's really darn scary. He's going to run Mag through my units. Now, he's not going to be able to run all the way through because of how I positioned my skirmishers. So he's going to stop an inch away from his unit. But he's rolling a D3, and it's D3 wounds. So my Darkstar Retinue has a 1/3 chance of surviving this attack. Really, really dicey. So here we go. I'm praying to my ruler. I'm like, please, Derek, roll a 1. I don't want to eat it here. Time to roll first for my Darkstar Retinue. Rolls a 1. Oh, good luck for me. And then my skirmishers, he also rolls a 1. Double 1. Beautiful, beautiful scenario for me. I'm going to retreat the Darkstar Retinue. So my idea is I want to try to get the point, and I'm going to do that with a tactical reposition later on. They're going to die from the wall, 100%. But it's worth a shot just to get a VP. I'm not going to be able to do enough damage to kill the Spear Thrower, so we're just going to have to live life the way it's meant to be lived, on the edge. Derek's going to activate his Raiders, and then his Bear. He's going to move his Bear up. He's going to try to threaten the center of the board with his Bear. Raiders are not notoriously for good saves. Not notorious for their good saves. I'm activating my Spearmen, and I'm going to reposition them so I can move closer, get within short range of the Darkstar Retinue, so that I can do what I suggested earlier with the tactical reposition. So here we are, really, really, really tight. I believe it was like a hair difference either way, but I was able to finagle my way into it. And then I'm just going to tactical reposition. I'm going to get that point. So I'm going to score a victory point, but it's going to cost me my commander's unit. So not much I've been able to do about it because of how Mance has been sitting on him and denying me all abilities, basically, through my commander, Doran. But it's the way it goes. No swords. It's very frustrating to deal with. His Raiders take a ton of wounds. Faramir takes wounds. 2 wounds out of 4. Man, he's in a real, real rough position. My Spearmen get absolutely toasted. And then, of course, the Darkstar Retinue is getting shot. Here I am rolling. Please, please, please. All 6s. Let's see it. All 5s and 6s. Oh, nope. Adios, amigo. So there goes my Darkstar Retinue. I'm going to activate Ilaria first round. Derek's going to use the once per game Mance ability, so I don't get that beautiful, beautiful removal of token. And I'm going to reposition with the horses. Now remember, I have quick fire and I'm speed 7. So I'm going to fly on back, get within exactly short range so I can shift a tiny bit back into the point, and then dump a ton of arrows into the side of those wolves. Remember, I'm still weakened. They haven't activated, but they did do a movement shot I believe I only laid 2 wounds off of them, and then Derek's going to activate Mance, take the bags. He's going to heal, I believe, the raiders back up so that they're no longer threatened by the walls raining down beautiful, beautiful arrows onto their souls. And then he's going to influence, of course, my skirmishers. Tyeen's going to take the letters and is just going to put out another token, and I'm going to draw 2 cards. I'm going to heal 1 to my spearmen. I'm really, really hoping for another rising temperature, something wonderful. Derek's going to take Lady Val on the crowns, replaced with a movement, replaced with Hurl Boulder. So we got another giant rock flying my way. Thankfully, it misses. And then I'm going to shoot some arrows back at that wolf. So I used scout openings this time. The previous time I didn't use it. I offer Derek the reroll, but I have precision, so he's going to decide not to do that. Derek rolls, and the wolf eats it. So I'm slowly chopping through. Varamir's going to activate. Derek's going to play Shrug It Off, heal those wounds again. Then we're going to have Doran Martell. He's going to activate, take the swords, replace it with shooting arrows at the raiders. So here we go. Raiders are taking 3 shots, and 2 guys die. 2 guys die. I rolled a 1 out of 3, the worst possible option. I was really hoping to be able to chew through enough of those raiders so that when it goes to the scoring phase, they could potentially die. Derek's going to activate the bear immediately after the raiders. He's going to declare a charge action. He's going to fly on in, but didn't make it, so he's just going to end an inch away from my skirmishers, who are just barely hanging on. My spearmen are going to go. They're going to go with Cunning Ploy, so I'm going to be able to instead reposition my skirmishers, who once again have not shot yet. So they're still hanging tight. No, they have shot, so they're just hanging tight, but they're further away from Mag, so we're going well. Derek declares a charge. It's not good enough. He's going to be an inch away, so he's going to have to end there and then take a panic test. So I'm surviving by pure luck. Derek is just not getting the rolls he needs. Derek's then going to activate his spear thrower, moves her up to threaten my spearmen, and then also try to get the point. So now we go to the scoring phase. The arrows are going to shoot down at the raiders, take them down to 2 wounds remaining. Oh man, it would have been beautiful as 5. So then I'm going to take another shot at Varamir. Varamir takes some hits again on a 3-up armor save. They're really starting to punch through. It's only 1 out of 3, so good shot. And then my spearmen are going to get toasted. I'm going to pitch some cards in the process, and they're going to take 2 wounds out of 3. So about the same as the raiders. Start of the round, I'm going to drop Sand Diplomacy, and I'm going to name the letters, and Derek's going to name the swords. I really want to make the swords as unattractive as possible. Mance is going to activate, take the bags, heal his raiders back up, and you'll never guess where that influence goes. Oh, right, onto my sand skirmishers. So now, can't take a zone to replace to shoot, so I'm just stuck where I'm stuck. I'm going to take Ilaria on the crown, replace, shoot at the raiders, hoping to try to get a long-range kill. You never know. Derek's going to then activate the raiders, and he is going to move them in such a way that they're no longer claiming the objective. Now remember, Lady Val still exists, so he could potentially later on activate Lady Val and then move himself back onto the point. He just doesn't want to get another volley in the cheeks from the walls, which is smart, because that's probably what I would have done my next activation if he let me. However, remember, the bear's still there. He's going to charge with the bear, get into my side arc, and I'm going to drop Dune Tactics. The bear only has 1 rank, so the lowest attack die doesn't matter. I'm just out there for the condition tokens, those sweet, sweet, delicious condition tokens. So, Derek's going to roll his dice. I get -1 defense saves, so I'll be saving on 6s due to the flank. It's not looking too hot for my beautiful skirmishers, but we're gonna stick it through. So we roll the dice, defense dice. Ooh, take 4 wounds for the pleasure. It may have been 3, difficult to see from here, and I haven't been counting. Take the panic test, fail the panic test. It's just a comedy of errors. I'm going to activate Tyeen, take the horses, replace, shoot arrows at Varamir. So Varamir's going to take 5 shots, and then I'm going to spend that vulnerable token I had gotten with the replacement zone, kill Varamir. So that's a nice, beautiful victory point in my pocket. Derek is going to take Lady Val, put her on the swords. She now has the Strangler. Next round, she will die. And she has no effect as a result, but she's going to target the Spirit Thrower, remove Rising Temperature. So now the Spirit Thrower is hitting on 3s again and can be targeted by tactics cards and can be healed. So probably a good trade-off. We'll find out. Derek's going to throw some spears at my spearmen. Spears all around. Roll the dice. I believe he is going to miss all of them. So I just get lucky, pass the panic test. Beautiful stuff. Doran's going to activate. He's going to take the letters. Can't replace it with shoot anything. So I'm just going to put a token out on Mag. I believe it's weakened. It might be panicked. Probably panicked. Mag's going to charge me. I'm going to play Superior Positioning. Doesn't matter. Derek rolls a 5, I believe, and just guns right through that Superior Positioning card, right into my skirmishers. The hope was that they would get a disorderly charge, spend the weakened token, get as many ones out, because Ryonish Vengeance is active. So he could take a ton of wounds for nothing on this attack. So I'm going to make him re-roll with the weakened token, trying to fish for those ones, and I knock out, I believe I drop like 3 wounds on him for the pleasure of existing. So it's pretty sweet trade-off for me, but then I'm just going to lose another rank for the pleasure of existing in front of Mag, who is so mighty. Yeah, there you go. 3 wounds. Roll the panic test. Let's see what beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Throw it. Ooh, eat it. I'm down to 1 wound remaining. Really just a bad position to be in. So I'm going to retreat, and then I believe I'm going to quickfire into Mag after a scout opening, so I get rerolls and precision into Mag. Now, if I kill Mag here, the bear is going to die at the end of the round, because Mag is no longer going to exist, and there's no friendly units within short range of that bear, so it's very imperative that Mag dies here. I'm going to hunt for precision 6s with my roll, and boom, nailed it. 3 6s, send Mag to the Shadow Realm. Goodbye, you mighty, mighty man. So, like I said, the Mag is going to die. Derek's going to go. He's going to play the reroll charge card for the Giants and get into the side arc of my Spearmen. Now, here we go. I forgot to set for charge. After I had been talking about it earlier in the game with the Shadowcats, I just completely forgot. And he is going to just dunk on my Spearmen. So I'm going to make him reroll with the weakened token. Still gets hits in. I lose 3 guys. Okay, 1/3 chance. If I fail, Oh, what is this? Nope, dead. Dead Trey. Good job, Derek. You stole that from me. Nah, you didn't steal it. You earned it. That was a beautiful, beautiful play. So, rolling for shots onto the Spear Thrower. She's going to take a few wounds. Remember, the Raiders are not on the objective, so they're not going to get shot at all. The bear dies. Val dies at the start of the round. I'm going to start of the round, drop Doran on the bags. I'm going to heal my skirmishers. My biggest fear is that Derek's going to take the swords with Mance. He doesn't. He takes the crowns. I was afraid he's going to start throwing spears, searching for those 6s to destroy my skirmishers long range. But I avoid it. Then I'm going to drop, I believe that is Tyene to heal another wound. I think I'm fairly confident that I'm not going to get tossed here. Replace it to shoot arrows into the side of the giant. Unfortunately, it's not going to be enough to kill it with the giant wounds and stuff like that. So spend the vulnerable token, just really hoping to get anything through. The giant sticks around. If I get even 1 wound on it, there's a chance. Derek's going to activate the Spirit Thrower. I'm going to drop my last Rising Temperatures on her, so she no longer can be targeted by tactics cards and -1 to hit. So Derek instead decides, okay, not worth it. I'm going to move off the point so I don't get gunned down by the wall. Here, I made a mistake. So the skirmishers could have gone after the Raiders, who were, I believe, on 2 wounds left, and try to gun them down. I'm hoping that I can replace the zone, take Tyene, shoot some arrows into the Raiders, kill them. Derek rolls. What a beautiful roll. Takes only 1 wound. Okay, so now it comes down to the last volley from the wall during the scoring round. Will those Raiders survive? So here we go. Roll the die. Boom. I believe it was a 2. Derek's going to roll. He needs all of them to be 5 or 6. So 1/3 chance for each die. I didn't do well in statistics, so don't hold that against me. Derek's rolling here, and then I'm going to stop. All right, that was amazing.
Did you see
that?
that?
Was awesome, Derek. Wow, Derek rolled old sixes. That was absolutely incredible. What a great celebration, well earned. What a tight game, amazing game. Thank you so much, Derek, for helping me out recording this video. Always a treat to play with you. Special thanks also to Derek, Sam, and Esad for helping me organize and run New Jersey versus Pennsylvania too. We broke the 20-person barrier. We had 22 players. Never happened before in the tri-state area. So that's super exciting. Thank you, Showcase Comics in Swarthmore, PA, for hosting us and allowing us to record on their premises. And thank you to Kyle from the Wargamers Guild for donating the Martells to me, basically, or at least trading in my favor. Thank you very much. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. It really helps out. And let your friends know we're trying to hit 500 subscribers. Thank you. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you on the next Battle Report.